Is your life a joyful dance? If you let go of the judgment of you, what fun, what joy, what play could show up right away? Have you put yourself in a box to fit in instead of choosing the undefined creativity of truly being you? Get ready to listen and learn how to step into being more fully present in the dance of aliveness, your thriving life and living. Now, here are the hosts of the Dancing with Consciousness radio show, certified Access Consciousness facilitators and authors, Danielle Varanda and Cathleen Connor.
Welcome to the debut show of Dancing with Consciousness. How does it get any better? Woo! Danielle and I are really excited. Your hosts are Cathleen Connor. And, you know, Danielle, the way she said your name, now I'm going to say Danielle. I always thought it was Danielle Varanda. So now I need to know. You'll have to tell me because the intro sounded different. How do you pronounce your last name?
It is Danielle Varanda, but you can play with it. You can say Varanda because it's way more fun.
Yes. Cool. So, both, as our intro said, both Danielle and I are Access Consciousness certified facilitators, and we both live in the Pacific Northwest. Danielle's up close to Seattle, and I'm close to Portland, Oregon, and we both love dancing. So when we decided to join together for this brand new radio show, we chose Dancing with Consciousness because there's just so many pieces we can touch with Dancing with Consciousness, and we're really excited to be here with you to share tools and techniques and tricks and fun stuff that you can do with consciousness tools. Most of our tools have to do with access consciousness, but we both have backgrounds in various different things as well, so we use whatever works to create more fun and joy and ease for people in their life. We both believe in playing and having fun with our lives, and we really want to share that with people in the world so they can choose stepping beyond just autopilot and stepping beyond the judgment this reality sometimes holds for us. And so what if life could be like dancing from a place of no judgment, a space of joy, and always creating something new and fun? So that's what we're all about. And if you hear us, you know, every now and then, because we're both Access Consciousness certified facilitators, every now and then we might use a clearing statement that goes right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. That's just something from the Access Consciousness tools that works around your cognitive brain to help you clear things that are unconscious or anti-conscious. So if you want more information about that, just let us know, or you can go to the website, theclearingstatement.com. We both love to work with people in groups and one-on-one, and just are thrilled to be able to play together on the show and share these tools with people around the world. So just to kick it off, using the metaphor of dancing, I was just thinking about how so much, you know, in the dancing world can be fun or can be judgment. And that's what the consciousness tools are all about. It's like, are we coming from awareness and fun and joy, or are we stuck in judgment? And so especially with partner dancing, it's really easy to get stuck in judgment and not remember that you're there for the fun of it, that dancing is supposed to be fun. And that's the same thing with our lives, is can we choose our lives and choose to create our lives from that ease and joy? So when I'm on the dance floor and I find myself kind of closing down in some way with judgment, I use these tools all the time. And then I use that metaphor of the dance floor in my life in a very similar way, where if I find myself coming up against judgment or coming up against kind of weird energy, I use the questions and the tools that we've been taught in Access Consciousness. Just over the weekend, I was eating at a restaurant with my friend Mark, and we happened to be seated in a part of the restaurant where nobody else was because I wanted to be close to the window so I could see the water. So we happened to be seated in a place where no one else was, and they were playing some really fun oldies music. And I was just kind of singing along with it. And then once they got to Michael Jackson's song, the Post Office one, I was like, oh, I just got to get up and dance. And so I just started dancing because there was nobody in that part of the restaurant. And I realized, and it was just joyful for me to do that, but I realized a couple of years ago I might not have chosen that because I would have come from the judgment of what would people think. And these tools have just allowed me to step into the joyfulness and the play of being alive and living. So, Danielle, how would you compare the metaphor of dancing with your life and using the consciousness tools? Can you jump in now and give us some examples as well?
Oh, I would love to jump in and do some dancing here. So actually, I love that share, Kathleen, that you about the whole restaurant, because that is also something that I have done, and I wouldn't have probably ever thought in a million years to have ever done that. And not only is it a lot of fun for ourselves and our bodies, and how much that just creates this joy within our body, but what it actually does with the other people around. We actually, by stepping into being more of us, we actually start to change people's lives around us. Like, even if they aren't choosing to get up and dance, they can actually see what might be possible. It doesn't have to necessarily getting up and dance, but it could be, or it could be something else, and the shift that could be in their lives. So I love how it actually becomes the invitation to others. And the other thing that I would like to share is, and how this whole Dancing with Consciousness came about too, was first of all, Kathleen being the invitation, and all of a sudden it was like when she talked about looking for another host, I was like, oh my gosh, that feels light. And that was that little bubbling up or a feeling of expansiveness. And it was like, before I even could think about it, it was like I knew that I wanted to choose that. And even though I've never hosted a radio show before, I've been a guest several times on a radio show and had a lot of fun with it. And so as soon as Kathleen had mentioned that, I was like, oh my gosh, that would be, how much fun would that be? So one of the ways that the dancing has showed up for me was one of my favorite tools, actually, is one of the many questions you can ask. And a question, by the way, without looking for an answer, actually creates more to show up. And it's really that simple, and that's what's so cool. And this particular one is also very fun to say, which is, what fun, what joy, what play could show up right away? And it's particularly fun because it rhymes. And just by staying in that question, it starts to create things to show up, and you don't even know what that's going to be. And shortly after I had been staying in that question, I actually found out about this whole dancing community that I did not even knew existed, and only to find out that like Seattle is like one of the largest dance communities in the country, which also blew me away. But anyway, and once I found out about it, of course, I wanted to start playing in that dance community, and it's just been so much joy, and that then has created more in my life. And as you were saying, Kathleen, too, about like really getting out of the judgment of ourselves on the dance floor and really being able to be me, and the more you can step into that, the more you can create change in your own life, but in others. So that's what I have to say about that.
Okay. Yeah, it's funny because it's one of those things where, being that I also work in a school, I see how much our bodies really like to move around, and our bodies usually enjoy movement as a part of how to go through the day. And there's so much that we teach kids in school about sitting still and paying attention and focusing instead of really following their awareness about what their body requires. And if they could follow their awareness, how much easier and more fun could their learning be? So just thinking about that piece when we talk about dancing and equating it with consciousness, because most of us have been taught most of our lives that not to pay attention to our own awareness and to keep our body still and to like override our bodies, because if we don't override our bodies, then we'll get in trouble or we won't get things done or something like that. So that piece of being with kids and allowing them to just play and enjoy. So there's times when at school, when I'm working with kids, if things are getting too serious, that I like change to a silly accent, or I move around and kind of play with them a little bit more so that we can have more fun with it, because a lot of school is just not set up to be that fun. But Danielle brought up that one of the primary tools in Access is asking questions, because there's so many times when we go into conclusion about what's going on, or we think that we don't have a choice, or we just assume that there's only one way to do something or only one way to go. So one of my favorite questions is, what's right about this, or what's right about me that I'm not getting? So if something comes up that feels kind of weird or wonky, just asking, what's right about this that I'm not getting? Or what's right about me that I'm not yet getting? And can I let that go now? So that's one of my favorite questions, along with what is truly possible here that I'm refusing to be and receive. Because if I was sitting at the restaurant and I was going, wow, I really want to get up and dance, but I refused to do it because I didn't want to be judged, then I wouldn't allow myself to be the invitation and allow my body to have fun. So what is truly possible here that I'm refusing to be and receive is another fun question. Do you have questions that you like to use a lot, Danielle?
Well, as I shared my earlier one, that's one of my top favorites, just because just by saying it, it actually creates a more joyful, you're already stepping into the joy or something different to show up. And then just the what's right about this I'm not getting. Again, it's like anytime I can have fun with something, I'm all about that. So it's like, okay, well, especially when something maybe really wonky has showed up, or something that you would not have considered to be a great thing showing up, then I like to go, what is right about this that I am not getting? Like really play with it. And then you can just, you end up laughing just at yourself, because you're just like, oh my gosh, what is this? And other than that, I really love any question that is, what energy, space, and consciousness can me and my body be to have, the clarity about this with total ease. And you can use, in those general questions that you can apply with anything. So if you're stuck, you're not getting something, something's not really working, and, you can just ask for more clarity about it. And it may show up right away. I mean, like right after you ask the question, or it could show up, later that day or the next day, but often pretty quick, to allow you to have more awareness about that situation.
Yeah, I guess the other question, as you mentioned that, is that we are so kind of entrained to do things a certain way or to be a certain way that we're kind of, like I said, on autopilot. So another nice question is, what can I be or do different so that I can be and do this with greater ease and joy? So sometimes we forget that if we just do something a little bit different than what we're used to, or what our routine is, that we can have even greater ease and joy if we're willing to do that. So we're getting ready to go into our first break from the show. You're listening to Dancing with Consciousness, and we'll be back right after the break to share more tools.
Many of us define ourselves by what we have learned in this reality. What would our lives be like if we knew we had infinite possibilities to choose from, following our awareness and knowing? By tuning into the Dancing with Consciousness radio show with Access Consciousness certified facilitators Cathleen Connor and Danielle Varanda, you'll receive tools and inspiration to tap into your own knowing and joy. Are you ready to create your phenomenal life with more fun, ease, and play? Listen for Dancing with Consciousness radio show every Monday evening at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Mountain, and 6 p.m. Pacific.
What would you say if I told you that you could change your life in only 1 hour and all while lying down relaxing? Thousands of people all over the world have. What am I talking about? It's called Access Consciousness, the bars. The bars is an energetic body process that contains 32 different points on your head that, when run, assist you in releasing decisions about any area of your life that you have made solid and as a result cannot change. The bars is the first class in Access Consciousness, a dynamic set of tools and information designed to transform any area of your life. When you have a bars session, the worst that can happen is you feel like you had a fantastic massage. The best thing that can happen is your whole life could change. Go to accessconsciousness.com today to find a facilitator to schedule a private session or to find a bars class in your area. Are you willing to give yourself an hour to change your life?
This is the Dancing with Consciousness radio show with Access Consciousness certified facilitators and authors Cathleen Connor and Danielle Varanda. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, UK 033-0001-0625, or Skype us at a2zen.fm. You can also choose to ask or comment by email or website by sending to Cathleen at accessconsciousness.com or checking the website daniellevaranda.accessconsciousness.com. Now back to the program.
Welcome back to Dancing with Consciousness. Today, both of the hosts are on. I'm Kathleen Connor, and I'm on with Danielle Varanda. We're both here for the first time on the Dancing with Consciousness radio show. For any of you,
and you're the lead, Kathleen.
Woohoo! It's really fun because for any of you that have been following my radio show history, I started out with Growing Up Conscious, but by myself, and then I took on two hosts in Super Scoop of Consciousness, and this feels like a whole other leap of fun and joy with Dancing with Consciousness with my friend and fellow facilitator Danielle. So we're excited to be here. And before our first break, we were talking about questions, and when I was I don't know if thinking is the best word, but I was being aware of the energy of dancing and how that's a metaphor to everything else that we do with consciousness. I was also thinking about receiving. So the Access Consciousness tools have a lot to do with receiving. There's body work, the Access bars, that help your body and your being to receive more. And most of the clearing tools help you with wherever you have barriers or boundaries or points of view about receiving. And I feel like it's very similar on the dance floor, and Danielle and I have talked about this, where if I go out to a social dance and I have this point of view, I only want to dance with that person or that person or that person, then I kind of close off my awareness to what contribution everyone in the room can be. And, like sometimes there's some leads that other women will complain about because they hold you really tight and close to them, or they dance a particular way. And so, other follows will complain about them, the leads. And if I just go in and they say yes to the dance, and I allow that person to be a contribution to me, it actually can be quite fun, because if you just allow the person to be a contribution to you without a point of view, then that person feels received, and then you also are not pushing back in any way. And this is such a great metaphor for so many things in life overall and being conscious, because so many people hold money away from themselves or hold more ease and joy away from themselves because they're not willing to receive. And man, I've just learned so much about receiving from the Access Consciousness tool. So would you like to add to that, Danielle, about receiving?
Yeah, that's an excellent point you're making, Kathleen, and I love the metaphor because it's really easy to go into the judgment of, say, somebody's asking you to dance or anything else in life, and you've already come to a decision or computation and or judgment point of view that they cannot contribute to you, or you don't like them, or they look funny, or they're this or they're that, and you've just cut off not only you're receiving from them, but anything else that could be a contribution to you. Because usually when we've come to a point of view, we actually, and especially when somebody is approaching us with something, whether it be asking us to dance or something else, we put up these barriers. And the thing is when you put up the barriers, you cut off receiving not only from that person or that thing that you've already decided that cannot be a contribution to you, but you also then cut off everything else. As you said, that could be money, it could be opportunity, it could be meeting amazing people, it could be, creating anything greater in your life. And when I'm willing to receive, whether it be from somebody asking me to dance or something else, then I can create, not only do I not cut off my receiving, but then I can, it could be totally surprising. I mean, the person that you would think that you would least likely to dance with could actually be the most amazing dancer, or something that you could learn from that. For example, like if somebody dances with you too tight, then you could, actually learn how to, adjust yourself, because you're not powerless over any situation. You don't have to be the effect of anyone or anything. You actually could just stay in the question, okay, what's required here? And then all of a sudden you know exactly what to do to either adjust the position if they're, dancing too tight or too close. Or, just because you're a follow, for example, doesn't mean that you cannot create something within the dance, whether that be in the actual dance or in life. So that's what's been so amazing. And just the creativity that can show up when you're willing to be open. I guess the only exception is if you just have, if something shows up and it just feels really heavy in your body, is one way that you can have an awareness that maybe that's not something you'd like to do at that moment. It doesn't mean that you wouldn't want to do it at another time or dance with them at another time, but at that particular moment, maybe that's not what you would like to choose. So it's not that you want to ignore what your body is telling you, because one of the many things that was new to me in learning about Access Consciousness and taking classes was that your body is a sensory organism. And so your body is giving you awarenesses, but we haven't necessarily known that. And so our body has so much more awareness than, say, what we think of as who we are, which, we often relate to our mind or our thinking. And our thinking is actually really limited, but that's how we have been taught to function in this world, is really from, finding the answer, thinking what's the best thing, or what we've read or what we've heard or what a professional's told you, instead of going with our own knowing. And one of the ways to really tap into that is through the body. And you can literally ask the body anything and get information from it. And it will never guide you in a wrong direction, which I love. It's just been a powerful tool to experiment with.
Yes,
what have you discovered?
I agree. I think the part that, and I've done so many trainings in the past, and some of them were related to bodies as well, but the Access tools really put together the tools for releasing your body and keeping your body clear so it can be that sensory guidance for you, and also keep clearing your being and clearing the beliefs or the points of view or the limitations you've taken on from people both in your being and your body, which I think is such a nice combo in Access, because I never really found that kind of combo in anything else that I studied, because so many of the things that are labeled as spiritual or like kind of metaphysical, so many of those things want to leave the body out. They kind of say, well, the body is just an illusion, or just meditate and get out of your body. And there's actually nothing wrong with meditating, but don't try to escape the awareness of your body. Use your body to your advantage to really listen to it, because most of us have been taught to override our body and not listen to it or blame it. Like if we're not feeling well, we blame our body instead of saying, thank you, body, for this information, and what is this? Like when you're out dancing, again, if you go with the conclusion like, oh, I'm going to go out dancing, I'm going to have fun, it's a conclusion to some degree, because if you don't go with the question of, like, what would it take to be filled with ease and joy when I dance tonight, and then follow your body's awareness, it won't necessarily be fun. Because sometimes when you're dancing, your body's aware of everybody else's aches and pains and whatever else they have going on. So even if I really enjoy my night dancing, I'll sometimes come home afterwards and be like, oh, geez, my body hurts, because I wasn't in the question of, like, how can I be here in a joyful, expansive way and not take on other people's stuff, but just be enough space and be in the question with it in a way where I can enjoy the dancing, and also my body doesn't have to copy what's going on in other people's bodies. So that's been a wonderful tool for me as well, to just keep dancing with consciousness instead of conclusion or judgment. I guess the other piece for me before our next break is that, whether you're in the lead or the follow position of dancing, I have more experience with following, but if the person you're dancing with has judgment, or you have judgment of them, or you have judgment of yourself, it's much harder to dance with another person. That if either person is coming from judgment, it can be much harder to dance together joyfully. But if you can come from awareness, like what will it take, or as Danielle said, what's required to dance with this person in a way that's going to work, and follow your awareness, that's much easier to just kind of follow their lead. But if your lead is in judgment of how you're dancing, or you're in judgment, it tends to shut everything down and contract it. And that's such a great metaphor for life as well, that as soon as you go into judgment about you, or judgment about a situation, or think you're looking for the right or wrong, or the good or the bad, then you shut everything down, and you really can't access your awareness or your body's awareness very effectively at all. So what else is possible? That's another great question from Access, is like, what else is possible here that I haven't considered? And what are the infinite possibilities here that I haven't considered? So we're going on our next break, and you're listening to Dancing with Consciousness, and we'll be back soon.
Many of us define ourselves by what we have learned in this reality. What would our lives be like if we knew we had infinite possibilities to choose from, following our awareness and knowing? By tuning into the Dancing with Consciousness radio show with Access Consciousness certified facilitators Cathleen Connor and Danielle Varanda, you'll receive tools and inspiration to tap into your own knowing and joy. Are you ready to create your phenomenal life with more fun, ease, and play? Listen for Dancing with Consciousness radio show every Monday evening at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Mountain, and 6 p.m. Pacific.
What if there were simple tools you could learn easily to step fully into your phenomenal life and living? Would you like even more ease and joy in your body? Cathleen Connor is an Access Consciousness certified facilitator who specializes in coaching people to know and express their brilliance and bring it more dynamically into the world. She loves to teach people how to communicate and let go of judgment with their yummy bodies to create more aliveness and ease. Are you willing to step into the gift of being dynamically you? Contact her at Kathleen@accessconsciousness.com or through her website at www.exuberantlybeing.com for a session today.
This is the Dancing with Consciousness radio show with Access Consciousness certified facilitators and authors Cathleen Connor and Danielle Varanda. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, UK 033-0001-0625, or Skype us at a2zen.fm. You can also choose to ask or comment by email or website by sending to Kathleen@accessconsciousness.com or checking the website daniellevaranda.accessconsciousness.com. Now back to the program.
Welcome back to a brand new radio show called Dancing with Consciousness. I'm really excited to be on with a co-facilitator, Danielle Varanda, and this is Cathleen Connor. We're sharing tools that we use to dance with consciousness in our lives and to have more ease and joy with all of that. We talked about questions you can use to open things up, like what's right about this that I'm not getting, or what else is possible, or I like what energy, space, and consciousness can I be to have, then fill in the blank with total ease. So you can ask questions. You can also be willing to receive everything around you as a contribution and not define it as good or bad or right or wrong or positive or negative. If you're just willing to receive it all without a point of view, then it allows you to really have everything be a contribution to you. I mean, I don't know how else to say that. But when we were talking about receiving, I also realized that when I'm dancing, and it's a great thing to do in all of your life, just remembering to have my barriers down. Some modalities teach you to put like boundaries around yourself or bubbles around yourself to protect yourself. But what if you keep all barriers down and you allow yourself to receive everything, and like we said before, allow everything to be a contribution and don't define it? Then what would be possible for you? You just have to kind of play with it and see, because I had been taught so much about, barriers and boundaries that at first I'm like, but since I've played with this over the last 5-6 years of consciously putting my barriers down, allowing myself to be aware of everything, it can be really uncomfortable at times, because if somebody is depressed around you, you will be aware of it. If somebody's sad around you, you'll be aware of it. If someone is anxious around you, you'll be aware of it. But if you don't have a point of view about it, and you don't try to define it as right or wrong or good or bad or positive or negative, then you really can have total awareness. And I've discovered that if you allow yourself to have total awareness, you don't get taken by surprise as much. You don't get kind of shocked by people's behavior as much, at least for me. For you, Danielle, what have you experienced when you have your barriers down and you allow yourself to just be aware of everything?
Well, it's actually a place of vulnerability, which so often we think vulnerability is a place of weakness, when actually it is a place of where we can be our most potent selves, because we're not cutting off our receiving from anything. And when we don't cut off our receiving from anything, then we have total awareness. So we don't have to be the effect of anything. And as you were sharing, if somebody's feeling a certain way, we can have the awareness. And yet I want to add to that, so often because we have the awareness, we will actually have a sensation, or if somebody's feeling sad and all of a sudden we feel sad, even if we have no reason to, or maybe we think we have a reason to, but we have this sense of sadness, we automatically go into thinking that it's ours, when it's usually just an awareness, because 99.99% of the thoughts, feelings, and emotions aren't even ours. We're just that aware, because everything has consciousness. I mean, for example, do plants, animals, does the earth have consciousness? Does a rock have consciousness? Yes. And so our body is is made up of the same molecules. And so our bodies have this incredible amount of, it's filled with consciousness, but we just have never recognized it, and we've often misidentified emotions that we're basically aware of as ours, or we have awareness, so we assume that it's ours instead of really tapping in and going, wait a minute, I have no reason to be sad. And then you could actually ask, who does this belong to, is another great tool. And speaking of all these wonderful tools, Kathleen, don't you have some, both Kathleen and I discovered Access, it'd be fun to hear, Kathleen, how you came across Access Consciousness. But don't you have some classes coming up?
Classes?
Yes, classes.
I do. Yes, as certified facilitators, we get to teach some really fun classes. There's one coming up very, very soon, this coming weekend. That's the Access Consciousness Foundations class, and it's going to be live in Houston, but I'm doing a pod right outside of Portland, Oregon, so people can come and watch the live stream with me and ask me questions about it, and also ask questions of Gary and Dane as they do the class. So I'm doing that. And I'm also a certified Being You facilitator. So I have Being You classes in Portland, Oregon area, along with the bars classes and the other classes that I'm certified to teach in Access. So feel free to contact me or Danielle on our Dancing with Consciousness Facebook page if you want to know more about our local classes or our telecalls, because I'm doing a telecall on the 15th, I think, called Choice with Your Voice, like allowing your voice to be heard in the world in whatever way that you'd like it to be heard, whether a writer, a singer, a talker, whatever way you want to be heard in the
radio
world.
Show host.
Yes, radio show host. Yes, that's also coming up. So feel free to friend me on Facebook or check out our Dancing with Consciousness Facebook page if you'd like to know more about what we're doing. How about you, Danielle? What's going up for you?
Well, so you mentioned the Global Bars, which is a really amazing class, and it's only held maybe once a year. And so you're doing it live stream, right? And that's this Friday?
I'm actually not
right?
doing the bars because I'll be at work, but I'm doing the foundations. So I'm glad you're doing it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm actually going to be doing a replay. So the date on that is the 16th of this month, which is a Sunday after your telecall. But the main thing that is so cool about this class, Kathleen and I both do what's called this bars class, which is usually the first class that most people come across, and it just creates so much change. And this one is going to be a global, which means it's around the world, and Access Consciousness is taught in over 174 countries at this point, which is amazing. And so people from all over the world will be taking part. And the really amazing thing is that Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, and the co-founder, Dr. Dane Hare, will be co-facilitating, as well as myself, and as well as everybody around the world will be joining us. So we'll be able to tap into all of that energy. And then, Kathleen, you're doing the foundation class rewrite, what we call the rewrite pod, which is again with Gary Douglas and Dr. Dane Hare, and then Kathleen as a co-facilitator. And is that starting on Saturday then, this coming Saturday?
It sure is. It sure is. The foundations class allows people to get all the foundational tools of the Access Consciousness tools. It gives you so many tools that there's no way you could use them all at once. It just is really packed with lots of different tools. So it's October 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th. That's going on near me, but it's going on around the world. So it's great that these classes are streamed through your computer or your TV, so no matter where you are, you can participate, even if you're not close to Danielle or I. So if you have questions, let us know, because it's going on around the world.
And because I'm traveling on those dates, I chose to do a replay of both the global bars on the 16th of October, and then the foundation is the following weekend, which is October 21st to the 24th. So lots of choice. And I just know for myself and for you, Kathleen, that, I mean, it just really changed so much in our world that we already had a sense of. Like, I always knew that there was something else possible, but I just didn't have the tools. And as soon as I came across the very first tool of, as you mentioned earlier, is how does it get better than this? I walked away after hearing Dr. Dane Hare on one of the summit webinars, and I walked away with that one question, and just was in that question, and so much change. I mean, that's how simple change can be, and the tools. And then sometimes we think they're so simple that they couldn't possibly create change. And it wasn't until like a year later that I even knew any more information about how it worked. So even if you don't know how it works, it actually creates change. But it literally changes the quantum entanglements of this world and the quantum particulates that create, that are in everything. And it just creates this shift to allow things to just show up with more ease and things that you can't even imagine. Like one of the other questions we were talking about earlier about favorite questions is what energy, space, and consciousness can you and your body be that would allow you to create a reality beyond this reality, beyond your wildest imagination, with total ease? And then woohoo! That one just is a nice, big, juicy one, right?
Yeah. And
the thing that was also interesting is I probably was saying, how does it get better than this? For several weeks, and it was just so cool, all the different things that were showing up. And then after a while, I stopped. Well, I didn't. Things started slowing down. I was like, wait a minute. I liked what was showing up, and then I realized I had actually stopped saying asking the question. So the more you stay in question, the more you be in question, the more you create. But if you stop, it's kind of like when you stop dancing or you stop pedaling a bike, you kind of, things just don't have the momentum that they did before. So I started asking the question again after that.
Well, and the cool thing, I just wanted to say before I forgot that people can listen to our show years, maybe decades after we've recorded it. So if you're listening to this way after October 2016, then feel free to check either our website or our Facebook page for whatever's going on currently while you're listening to it. My webpage is exuberantlybeing.com. and I'm Kathleen Connor on Facebook, and that's Kathleen with a C and Connor with an O-R. And then we have our Dancing with Consciousness Facebook page. So all of those you can check to know what's going on with us and to see what else you can participate in. But she was mentioning how does this get any better, or how does it get any better than this? And most people have heard that question, but most people don't use it when things are not going the way that they'd like, or, as they predicted, or things are going, quote, bad for them. So whether somebody hands you a $2,000 bill to pay or somebody hands you $2,000, you can ask, how does it get any better than this? Because it opens up the energy. All the questions open up the energy to something different and something else that's instead of only having one door open, you could open up 10 more doors or 2,000 more doors by asking, how does it get any better than this? So just by being in the question, and we don't mean questions that start with why, because that's usually get you back into your story, but using some of the questions that get you back into the energy of change allow you to choose something different. So you're listening to Dancing with Consciousness radio show, and we're going to be going on break, so we'll be back soon to wrap up and share some more tools with you.
Many of us define ourselves by what we have learned in this reality. What would our lives be like if we knew we had infinite possibilities to choose from, following our awareness and knowing? By tuning into the Dancing with Consciousness radio show with Access Consciousness certified facilitators Kathleen Connor and Danielle Varanda, you'll receive tools and inspiration to tap into your own knowing and joy. Are you ready to create your phenomenal life with more fun, ease, and play? Listen for Dancing with Consciousness radio show every Monday evening at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Mountain, and 6 p.m. Pacific.
What would you say if I told you that you could change your life in only 1 hour and all while lying down relaxing? Thousands of people all over the world have. What am I talking about? It's called Access Consciousness, the bars. The bars is an energetic body process that contains 32 different points on your head that, when run, assist you in releasing decisions about any area of your life that you have made solid and as a result cannot change. The bars is the first class in Access Consciousness, a dynamic set of tools and information designed to transform any area of your life. When you have a bar session, the worst that can happen is you feel like you had a fantastic massage. The best thing that can happen is your whole life could change. Go to accessconsciousness.com today to find a facilitator to schedule a private session or to find a bars class in your area. Are you willing to give yourself an hour to change your life?
This is the Dancing with Consciousness radio show with Access Consciousness certified facilitators and authors Kathleen Connor and Danielle Varanda. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, UK 033-0001-0625, or Skype us at a2zen.fm. You can also choose to ask or comment by email or website by sending to Kathleen at accessconsciousness.com or checking the website daniellevaranda.accessconsciousness.com. Now back to the program.
Welcome back to Dancing with Consciousness. This is Kathleen here with Danielle on our debut show of Dancing with Consciousness, and we've had some fun sharing some tools with you. I also look at that aspect. Always, I guess the biggest gift for me with the Access Consciousness tools are allowing yourself to be who you are and be that in the world in an empowered way and a joyful way, and not holding back who you are just to avoid judgment, and not holding back who you are to fit in here, but just allow yourself to be who you be and allow that contribution out in the world. So the gifts that we share by being who we are sometimes are really different than what we expect, and sometimes show up really differently than we expect, because sometimes I do things that I'm judged for, and I think there's something wrong with that, but then I realize what kind of change it can be. And as Danielle was explaining earlier in the show, that if you just step into being who you are, like both Danielle and I love to dance, if you just dance with joy, there's more than one person that has come up to me and said, man, you just dance with so much joy and so much abandon, like in terms of just not having to care about what people think. And that inspires people. And then sometimes people choose to dance themselves, or they just get that possibility in their world. And I can't believe we have less than 5 minutes left, Danielle. Is there something you want to share about being you and dancing with consciousness?
Yeah, it's amazing how time flies when you're having fun, right?
Yeah.
Well, just some of the things that I have been really grateful for, and not only all these tools that I've been able to play with, and of course all the energy body work that I've learned and received and given, but just back to dancing, one of the many things I'm grateful for dancing is not only all the creative expression I can do, and really being me. It's one of the many places I get to step into that. But it's also where if I am really in a funk, or have had a bad day, or whatever has happened, lost somebody dear to me, whatever it is, and I would like to change where I'm at in the sense of the heaviness of it. Dancing has been wonderful for that, and that could be for other people. It could be dancing, it could be something else, but really okay, so what is it that is required to change this? Or what fun, what joy, what play could show up right away, or whatever question if you could come up with a question like, how does it get better than this? And then for me, it's like, if I have the opportunity to go dancing, which I'm actually going to go dancing tonight, how does it get better than that? Literally, it's like whatever we want to choose to do, and that could be a walk, or go on a swing, or go get a massage, or facial or something, what would be like something that would actually change it? And that's where dancing has really been wonderful to just release whatever, I'm feeling stuck in, or I'm picking up from others and buying it as mine. And just really being able to shift it. And what if things are actually that easy? That's the thing. It's like, really, life can feel really hard, seem really hard at times, and what if it's just that easy to change it? And that's one of the many things I enjoy about not only dance, but these tools with Access Consciousness. I have to share this one, because we've been talking about the body and it being a sensory organism, and it being having so much awareness. It's like everything you've done to buy, sell, and perpetrate that your body is a lump of flesh and only useful for dragging you down. Will you destroy and uncreate it all now, please?
Yeah.
Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. And there's that crazy clearing statement that Kathleen talked about earlier. Even if you don't know how it works, it works. It's like a big eraser, magic wand. Do we have time for another one?
Oh, sure. I mean, I guess anything that doesn't allow you to dance with consciousness in your life with total ease and joy, can you destroy and uncreate that now times a godzillion?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, all nine, boys, shorts, and beyonds. And like Danielle said, just asking a question. Like if I come home from school and I'm still feeling a little wonky, I just say, well, how can I change this? So we're just about out of time for today, so we want to thank everyone for joining us, and I'm so excited to be playing with Danielle on the Dancing with Consciousness
and I with you, Kathleen.
Show.
This is awesome.
So we'll be back next week, same time, same place, Monday night, and we look forward to playing with you then.
See you guys then.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Dancing with Consciousness radio show. Danielle Varanda and Kathleen Connor will return next Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Mountain, and 6 p.m. Pacific on a2zen.fm. We look forward to you joining us. Until then, enjoy